Hello everyone, I'm Jesus and welcome to the next episode of the Road to Old School MTG. In this video I have for you round 3 of the Alpha Beta 40 World Championship held at Dave's Time Warp in Cedar Grove, New Jersey. As the name implies, only cards from Alpha or Beta are allowed in this tournament. No proxies. This tournament was held in January of 2025. There was a live stream of the event. I'll put a link to that video review in the description, as well as the link to the rules for this tournament. There are definitely a lot of special rules because the time frame of this during, of course, Alpha Beta, the first 2 sets of Magic, the rules were different during this time. As the game gained more popularity and it was more refined, then some of the rules changed. So the rules for this are a bit different from the old school rules that we are used to for those who participated in 93-94 old school. So as the game passes and I notice certain things, I will be specifying those differences in rules as needed. But other than that, let's start with the deck tech. Over here we have Jeremy's deck. He has a mono green deck. So we see, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 14 forests. We have 4 elves, 2 wild growths, I believe, giant growths, 4 giant growths, 1 berserk, grizzly bears, 3 ice storms, 3 giant spiders, jade statues, 3 hurricanes, and 2 crawworms. Remember, all these cards are either alpha or beta. So even though I personally did not participate in this event, these are the videos that I personally recorded because I felt this was a very important event and I wanted to make sure there were videos of this. So the deck seems pretty fast. We have 4 elves, we have wild growths to ramp up, we have ramping of creatures, so you have of course the Land of War elves at 1 casting cost. We have a couple grizzly bears, then we jump up to giant spiders, and then hopefully seeing some crawworms at 6 casting costs. Those hurricanes of course will clear the board from any flyers, but also if you're aggressive enough, quickly enough, you can finish off the game with a hurricane as well. There are certain cards that you're allowed to have over 4 of. So this particular deck doesn't have anything more than 4. And there are some cards that you're only allowed to have 3. And there are of course some cards that are restricted or banned, right? The anti cards are banned and so forth. So with that in mind, this is a pretty straightforward deck. Definitely has the opportunity to get going really fast, especially if you get a elf or wild growth going. Alright, so now let's go into the other deck. Here, this is Rich's deck, also plain mono green. Similar layout in terms of the lands, 4 elves, but this deck is more creature heavy. First of all, take a look at the giant growths. 1, 2, 3, 4. Giant growths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 giant growths. We have the 4 elves, 4 script strikes to get that flying in, 3 giant spiders, also 4 berserks. We have a soul ring. Remember, that's either an alpha or a beta soul ring. We have a jade statue. I see a icy manipulator. Looks those rounded corners look alpha, right? So pretty impressive. And a giant growth, a regrowth as well. So this deck can also be pretty fast. You have the 4 elves. Also, you have the soul ring. But you do have those flyers in this script sprites, and they can definitely get in with 6 giant growths, 4 berserks. There's no big creatures here, so the giant spiders is the biggest of the this particular deck has. But with the Giant Growths and then the Berserks giving trample and doubling the power, you don't necessarily need anything that's too big. Just all these will just overwhelm the opponent, and with a lot of weenies out, whichever one doesn't get blocked, you pump that one up. And I didn't mention it before, but of course, as the name implies, Alpha Beta 40, all decks are exactly 40 cards, no more, no less, no sideboards. Alright, so I think with that out of the way, let's go into game 1. Alright, so we have Jeremy on the left, Rich on the right. So one of the rules are, for mulligans, you're only allowed to mulligan if you have either no lands or all lands in your hand. And you can continuously keep on mulligan to mulligan if you keep on getting either all lands or no lands. Of course, you have to reveal your hand, but here on Jeremy's left, on the left of Jeremy, I see some lands and spells. Rich was going first though. If you notice, he drew. So in AB40, you draw as the first player as well. So Forest and a Sprite, and then Jeremy follows up with Forest and an Elf. I think that's a stronger start from Jeremy, but it's just the first turn. Going back to Rich. Forest. Coming in for 1. Jeremy's at 19. We have the life totals up top. Tapping. Ooh, Soul Ring. That's very big. Of course, Rich doesn't have any big creatures, right? So, but he can get those giant spiders out early. The Icy, and then he can pump up the Hurricane as well. Jeremy attacked for 1, dropped the Forest, but that's all he did, which is surprising. Alright, so I see giant spiders and a giant growth in Jeremy's hand. I see Berserk, giant spider as well. Okay, here we get a spider, I believe from Rich. Tapping 4 for an Icy. Interesting, and that I thought he would maybe play that giant spider, unless I didn't see correctly. Okay, Jeremy's tapping 4, plays a Forest for a giant spider, so there we go. Jeremy's at 18, Rich is at 19. So Rich is up, drew already, played a land, so you have, so that's 5 mana right there. He can cast that giant spider and still tap out something from Jeremy's side if he so chooses. The guys don't really know their own, what they have, but they must assume that both decks will have giant growths and even perhaps berserks. So Rich came in for 1, Jeremy's at 17, and then casts a giant spider of his own, has 1 mana open to tap something. So here he could be tempted to, here maybe I would have, in response I would have tapped that Forest before the Wild Growth went into effect. Of course you could still tap it just to get 1 mana, but here Rich is just being more on the safe side in terms of tapping out the giant spider, so that way he can come in with his own giant spider probably. Alright, Jeremy has still 4 mana open. If he has another giant spider, something, or maybe more ramp. Okay, so even though Jeremy is more likely to ramp up than Rich is the one that has more mana, or at least he's not falling far behind. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now they're tied, but that Soul Ring definitely adds quite a bit of mana. Alright, so attacking for 3, takes it. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is second main, I guess. Okay, second spider. He has 1 mana, 1 Forest still up to tap something. Okay, so I'd be tempted to tap the Wild Growth the wild growth forest. 2, 3, 5, 6. Ooh, do we see a crawworm? Ooh, nice. A tattooed crawworm. Okay, so he has 1 mana open. I don't know if he's passing here or not. I would just attack, or at least. Well, I guess maybe not, maybe not. Okay, so I think Rich is still deciding what to do. If he intends to come in with the giant spider, he should tap the crawworm, end of turn. Giant spiders will bounce off each other, but he can get in with the sprite and the second giant spider. That's 3. And then of course if he has any shenanigans with giant growths, berserks, we do see a berserk in hand. So putting a giant growth on a spider, that brings the power up to 5. Berserk, that brings the power up to 10. Jeremy's at 14, so very, very quickly. Actually for both of these guys, because they both have giant growths. And berserks, I believe. For both of these guys, it's very easy to come out of nowhere with some big attacks. Alright, so taps the crawworm. That crawworm is so iconic. So it's really cool to see it in action, right? Because that card is obsolete in today's old school scene, which is a shame, but it's cool that it has a place in this format. Alright, Rich dropped another forest for 6 mana. Okay, yeah. The Lenore Elf was tapped from Jeremy's side to cast the crawworm. So he only has 1 blocker. He can get in 3, of course, but then the crawworm may attack. Ooh, interesting. Is he gonna tap him out? 2, 4, 5. That's 5 damage. But if he has that giant growth berserk thing going on, that could be enough to win the game. Plus Jeremy's tapped out, so there's no like fog or anything. Of course he doesn't have a fog, but Rich doesn't know that. Whoa. 2, 5, 10, 12, 13. That's 13 damage though. 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. And Hurricane for 2. Yep, that's it. Wow, that came out of nowhere. And I've said this before in other videos, there's really very little downtime between games because there's no sideboards, so players literally just shuffle up and start the next game. But that was pretty intense. Alright, going into game 2. So I'm seeing some Lance and Spell on Jeremy's side. Yeah, and let's see for Rich. You can see his hand there. Alright, so Jeremy's up to start. He should be drawing. Did he draw? Okay, yeah. Yep, so yeah, that's pretty gentlemanly of Rich. Just double checking, because this is very easy to forget this rule that player 1 draws. That's not an old school thing or traditional old school. Alright, so forest, elf, and then forest, and then Jeremy followed up with a forest, wild growth, 3 mana for a ice storm on the forest, and then Rich is now dropping a forest. So that's what Rich gets for being a gentleman. Ooh, grizzly bears attacking for 1, 19. So nice. So Jeremy has 4 mana here. Rich only has 2, so it's dropping him back. Of course, with a soul ring, will pop right back up. Attacking for 3, 16. Ooh, that's it. Too bad there was no giant spider there. 3 mana. Okay, Rich is getting lands and consistently dropping things. Ooh, but without elves, there's no ramp. You just turn to turn. Alright, Jeremy's just getting 3 in every lightning bolt every turn. Rich is at 13. he must have giant growth and stuff. I guess maybe he's saving it. Both of these players can just drop 2 giant growths and a berserk and just win out of nowhere. Although Rich is more likely to do it. Ooh, attacking. Okay, definitely. There's a giant growth in hand. Okay, let's see. Whoa, wait, what is happening? Three, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. Whoa, he's at 1. Holy smokes. Okay, does Jeremy have a hurricane or something? Because why would he do that but not win the game, right? But if it's... Wait. Oh. Wait. No. Holy... 2, 5, 8, 11, 22 damage. Yeah, holy smokes. Jeremy pumped 3 giant growths, and then Rich responded by pumping 3 giant growths and a berserk. Wow. So taking a little photo there. Holy crap. Yeah. Okay, wow. That came out of nowhere. 2 out of nowhere. Yeah, there you go. Jeremy dropping the hurricanes. He was going to win next turn. He was 18. So yeah, I don't blame him. He did the right thing. Just Rich had the exact cards needed to come out of nowhere. Both of these guys are just taking photos here because this is just insane. But wow, I am so glad I caught this on camera. So this is so none of this is anything different than maybe any other old school game. You see this stuff, but of course with Rich, he had 6 giant growths, so that is something that you don't see in traditional old school, something that can only happen in Alpha Beta 40. So Rich is more likely to do this kind of craziness, and he did it for the win. Wow. Alright, so that was the very dramatic end to round 3 of the Alpha Beta 40 tournament. Thank you guys for watching.